Hi, I'm Theresa Bruno, host of the Soul Talks podcast, and I'm back here today with my good friend Mert McNaughton, and we're talking about leadership, entrepreneurship, how to shape a culture, and how to shape a movement. So hang on, you're going to want to hear this. Hi.
Hi.
Again.
I'm back.
We ended our last conversation and I kind of walked away from it for a minute and thought, I'm going to challenge her on this.
I'm ready. I think.
It's not a big, hard challenge, sort of. But when I said, okay, be honest, what makes it hard? Because you're presenting it as though you've built this salon and you've gone through COVID and you went from 6 people to 24 to 28 people. And it's, like I said, you present as it's utopia.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what makes it hard? And you said, when people don't achieve their best, when you feel like you are, trying to guide them in their greatness. That's what I say in management. I'm like, I just love helping people find, their best, their greatness. And I know that, but because I've been integral to your business for the last 3.5 years, I've been on the side of the numbers. I've been on the side of, oh my gosh, we can't pay all the bills this month.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been in a coaching position with you for about 3.5 years. Is that right?
Yes.
Because for about a year coming out of COVID, I was surviving James' death and couldn't add 2 numbers together, basically. And it's been a joy. It's been such a joy to work with you and to coach with you. And, you are in a coaching scenario exactly like you are in the way that you manage. I've thrown a lot of hard things at you in the last 3.5 years. I've asked a lot of you conceptually, financially, shifting a whole lot of things in your business. And you've not one time said, you sat back, you've been quiet. And then I'll get a phone call or I'll get a text the next day and you've gone home and you've dug around and you've gone, okay, I think I know what you're talking about. If I move this expenditure over here and we stop buying this much product, we can really affect more money for American Express bill, right?
Yes.
We've gone through a lot. But when I said, what makes it hard? You came out of COVID with a pile of debt, a bigger salon, having to rebuild. I remember when, we were talking about, okay, we just need 2 more stylists who come in here and they have a book. And you were like, there aren't any. I can't hire any seasoned, stylists. I'm hiring youngins and teaching them because that's all I can get at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're saddled with debt you didn't understand was going to be long-term debt because of the way those loans were made during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So talk a little bit about, you're building this beautiful emotional culture. You're behind the chair all the time. You're emitting this great positive, flow for everybody. And then you go in an office with me and we're dealing with some really difficult spreadsheets. The numbers are tough.
But numbers tell the story.
I know, that's my mantra. Numbers tell the story, but it wasn't a pretty story for a while. It's an amazing story right now.
Yeah.
You are on a trajectory of health, growth, and stability.
Mm-hmm.
But it took us 2 years.
Yeah, well, it was hard to find consistency in your business when you didn't have consistent employees.
Yeah, and to figure out, to make some sacrifices. You and Mark have made some really big sacrifices. You thought you were going to go into the salon business and like triple your take home from where you were. And you've had to make some big sacrifices to pay off debt, to pay employees bigger commissions than almost anybody in town in the business.
The highest in the city.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But speak a little bit to because I've watched you struggle. I've watched you go home at night and go, oh, this is so hard. This is such a burden to carry. How can I do it or can I do it? Talk to me about those places.
Well, I think that there was this point where in the first couple of years of owning a salon, I was doing everythll off feeling. and you even said yourself, it's amazing with no college education how you were able to get this far.
I mean, it's remarkable.
You were like, I'm a 3,700 square foot salon. I've got, 20 chairs and, nobody to work for me. But,
clients still aren't coming out.
But all I knew was just to keep on showing up. And I think that that's really why I was able to be so successful, because I refused to not show up, because if I didn't show up, I would lose everything. So I am very grateful to have a business partner where we just, busted our asses behind the chair and just worked and trained and trained. And, again, people were coming and going and coming and going, and there was no stability. And that was very triggering for me, especially having a childhood with no stability.
Yeah.
So I think that there was definitely some deep-rooted childhood situation with me with that too, and people would come and go, and there was that,
Felt
that
like
lack
abandonment.
Definitely abandonment.
I gave my heart into you. I taught you everything I know, and you're leaving me?
Exactly.
How could you do that?
I know. And, that's the thing. It's not about thinking, oh, these people are supposed to be with you forever. It's just about in the moment when someone leaves. It's just sad.
Oh, I know.
It's just sad.
No, but I've never experienced the kind of turnover that you have to experience.
Yes.
But I just do want to go back to those dark, hard nights.
Yeah.
Because I don't, you say it all with a smile, and it hasn't all been like that.
No, it hasn't. And keep in mind, this whole time I'm long distance with my, now husband, trying to, stabilize a relationship. So I was also traveling and in and out of my business during all this time, going across the world to go visit and make this relationship work.
Right.
Even was married for an entire year before he could even come over here and move. And then, on the other hand, I have this business in a lot of debt, and numbers are looking a little scary. And that's where all of a sudden failing and doing the right thing wasn't working anymore. I had to literally learn how to do spreadsheets and numbers and get a hold of my business. And that's where you came in. That's where you came in.
Well, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been my honor.
Oh, thank you.
But you've done it. There hasn't been one thing I have said, hey, you need to pay attention here. Oh, we're spending too much on this, or you got to cut this, or we've had some things where I'd go, oh my gosh, you've got this person who's got more institutional knowledge in your business than anybody else, but she's not making enough. You don't have more money coming in, but you're going to lose her.
Yeah.
And you need her. So we're going to have to raise her a bunch of money.
Yes.
To keep her. And you're like,
okay,
that means I have to do 12 more hours this week.
Yeah.
Literally, it was that hand in glove kind of.
I literally have built that business with my two hands.
One of the things that I think it's so important for young entrepreneurs to hear in this, and it's not just young entrepreneurs. What I often meet resistance. If I'm coaching people, they hold their spreadsheets tightly, they hold their numbers tightly, and they don't. They're so sure they're doing the right thing. When I say, oh, your balance sheet is really, because people don't understand that the balance sheet is not your P&L. No, and just because you're showing a profit doesn't mean you're in a profitable business.
Exactly.
And that was a long journey.
It
for
was.
us,
It was.
And when you begin to really grasp that, what I'm trying to say is you are hungry for business knowledge. You are hungry to understand really good basics of what runs a business. And you were willing to take critiques, just in the same way that I've watched you be hungry on your spiritual path, because I've very loosely been alongside you as that started and watched. I think I hadn't lived here for a couple of years and was only coming and going basically to get my hair done by you, because I couldn't find anybody I liked where I lived. And I'd come in and I would just, I would think, she's shifting. I see the way she's holding this relationship softer or more positively, or, you started figuring out ways to move your own energy a little bit and not to give it out to everyone. And also, I think you learned pretty quickly that you couldn't control what happened to you. You just could control how you reacted to it. And that was a pivotal shift in the way you ran your partnership, in the way that you interfaced with employees and drew boundaries. But it was just beautiful to come back and see your spiritual growth. You were the same way in business and being coached in business, because after COVID, that was a dark night of the soul. Was this business going to be able to continue? Was it going to make? Were you going to walk away and have to be paying it off your whole life?
Well, ultimately, me and my partner would have lost everything.
Yeah.
Everything that, again, we earned with our own two hands behind a chair doing hair.
Yeah.
All day, full time.
Yeah. And that is not easy. It's a very physical business.
It is. And, the risk you take to starting a business.
You just don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. And, again, I'm positive and I'm going, but it's still inside I was struggling. Yeah. And like you said, those dark nights, it was hard because there was nobody I could talk to about it. Obviously I had you, but nobody could understand. And I would try to talk about it with other people, but because, they didn't own a business, they didn't understand the struggle, they would be like, oh, you're going to be fine. And you'd be like, no, you don't understand. I'm running at a deficit $86,000, I'm having to make up in, during this thing that was completely out of my control. And again, during all that, it's kicking up your childhood traumas and you're trying to deal with that. But again, going back around to me finding that spirituality, that groundingness, that was what I think was the moment that I felt that I was healing from my traumas. And it's one thing to be aware, it's a whole other ball game to be healed. And, again, like you were saying earlier with me, just having better boundaries. And boundaries aren't bad. Boundaries create, what did they say?
Safe place.
A safe place. And, good fences make good neighbors.
Yeah, that's right.
Good fences make good neighbors.
That, but yes.
Yes, and when you're able to have, this clarity in a relationship between you and your employee, it really creates kindness.
Yeah.
Creates kindness.
Kindness just can really be a game changer.
Yeah, and then I think that loops back around to the safer space.
It does.
Vulnerability.
So if you were talking to a young woman of 28 who had a big dream, from your perspective now, and she wanted to build a business and she knew next to nothing, just a big dream, and she knew her craft, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to get a good accountant and a good lawyer.
Yes, ma'am.
That's where I would start. Get a good accountant and a good lawyer. And, again, full circle back to culture. What are you trying to represent within your business? And for us, I want my people to focus on themselves. I want them to unite and come together, because when you create that energy and we all come together and we're all there to create that energy, that's what's creating this experience.
So you try to unify every year with kind of a sub-brand within, just within your folks. So tell us about what your byline is for your sub-brand this year to unify.
To unify. So our culture is to give a fuck. To give a fuck. Just show up and care.
Yeah.
Because if you really want to build your business and you really want to grow behind the chair, you have to fucking care.
But you have a line you're using.
I do.
My
secure the bag. My secure the bag. So, this year, 2025, I don't think we were all expecting the changes. But here we are.
Yeah.
And what have I learned? Not to react to it. I can't control these things.
Right.
So I'm going to stop consuming and I'm just going to focus on myself. So again, like going back to giving a fuck, we have focus, unity, community, and knowledge. And when I'm talking to my staff, you know, about focusing on themselves and uniting as a community and growing knowledge in your craft, that is how I've taught them about this secure the bag analogy.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, it's more than just money bags, even though we all want that. Because my entire staff, when I'm coaching them quarterly, they're all like, how can I make more money? How can I grow my business? And when I talk about securing the bag with the staff, I'm like, it's more than just money. It's more about like securing the things that matter to you right now, because that's what matters. Don't consume and listen to all of this chatter that's going on in the world, because you can't control any of that. But what we can do is secure what's going on inside our building.
Yeah.
So bringing our staff together into our culture and, you know, securing the bag, it's just a really good tagline for all of my staff, for us to just kind of get laughy, giddy about it. And, you know, and then again, like, a stylist will walk in and be like, oh, I just locked down like a 4-hour service and I charge this and I'm so proud of myself. I charge my worth. And I'm like, secure the bag.
Yeah.
Secure the bag,
I
you
love
know?
it. And I just love that you do try to create this kind of subculture every year that unifies.
Yeah.
So let's go back to that 28-year-old girl who's sitting in front of you, and she's full of just all kinds of dreams and positivity, but you look in her eyes and you know she's got some deep wounds. Where would you tell her to go with that?
Whenever I'm going to try to, if I'm looking at a 28-year-old and that I can tell, I would probably ask, do you know who you are? Because when you go into business, people are going to challenge you and make you think they know who you are. And so when you're going into that and you're managing people and you're growing a business, I think that is the biggest thing that kicks in as an entrepreneur, is your imposter syndrome, where you just feel like you're not good enough. So I would say the best advice I could give a young girl that's wanting to start her own business is really get grounded and figure out who you are. And don't ever let anybody change that, because people will try.
Yeah.
Especially being a female.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being with us. I've loved this time with you. I love listening to you. I'm just so darn proud of you and what you're doing. What's next?
Well, I am enjoying life with my husband because he's here now. Next, I am really wanting to lean into coaching others. I have gotten some really good insight from my staff. They've been scheduling one-on-ones with me now, and it's been really cool to kind of get with them and just privacy and just manifesting and being like, all right, like, let's dream big.
Yeah.
Like, where are we going? Where do you want to go? And being able to sit back and watch my staff accomplish and hit benchmark after benchmark after benchmark, and they show up with a smile and they know how important the experience is, and they respect the culture, and they don't like anybody coming in messing with that culture, girl. They are like, protect the house, protect the house.
Yeah.
And I will say that I am in a season right now with my staff that I have never felt so much loyalty.
Oh, I love it.
From the people surrounded by me, and how supported they are, and how they're all willing to step up and do the work and show up for themselves, and couldn't be more proud. So I'm really looking forward to a 2025 that I don't think I've quite experienced yet, and hopefully at the end of the year we will be securing the bag.
I love it. I have to say in closing though, I never know what you're going to do next. I mean, and I know it will be great. And so I just have to say, like I said to you what was that, 12 years ago? I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
When it's with you, I don't know what you're going to do next, but I know it's going to be amazing.
Well, I look forward to the growth because I just never stop growing and I never stop challenging myself. And I think that, as a female, I think that we have been in a world for too long that puts parameters and limits us to how far we can go. Mm-hmm. And it's really time, I do feel that it is the time of the female. We need to be stepping up. We need to be representing what's best for us. Mm-hmm. And really coming together and get almost like I want to say community, but more like connection. Mm-hmm. It's time for females to start connecting and becoming I want to say, higher power. Well, let's raise our vibration together and let's see what we can create, because I really think that women could rule the world if we wanted to. Just going to throw that out there in the universe.
Okay. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for being so dear to me.
Oh,
yeah. So proud of you.
Thank you.
Until next time, take care and take hope. Thank you.